Hello beautiful people, welcome to another unboxing video. Today we're taking a look at the ThermalTake's Toughpower GF3 ARGB 80 plus gold certified 750 watt fully modular power supply. Now ain't that a great name? This power supply also comes in the beefier 850 watt version, but in general it should be the same, with the changes being mostly to the components inside and the included cables. In this video, we'll cover the packaging, how it looks, how it feels, the technical specs of this power supply, how it ranks on the PSU rank list, which is very important if you didn't know. And I'll also let you know why I chose this power supply, since I'm paying my own cash and not getting these products for free. So let's get started and see if this power supply deserves a spot in your next build, your current one, and if it doesn't, I'll briefly cover on how to find one that does. And let me start by saying thank you to Bailey, who gifted me this knife. He's from the US of A, so big respect. Thank you. Great knife. As I already shown, the box is huge, at least compared to what I had prior to this, and it feels solid. The box is decked out with plenty of ThermalTake's branding and puts a big spotlight on the RGB features, which are nice, but funny enough, weren't even in my top 5 reasons for the purchase. They really want you to know that this unit can light up your case, but in the end, it will probably end up facing the floor in most PC builds. That's at least true for mine. To each their own, I guess. I'm just trying to say that for me, this was not a big factor, but if it is to you, keep in mind that the PSU supports Asus Aura Sync, MSI Mystic Light, and the Gigabytes RGB Fusion 2.0. It also has independent lighting control and options available with no syncs needed. The sync option is only there to make sure same colors or gradients are displayed everywhere in your custom build. Opening it up, we have the warranty and the safety instructions, power supply itself, which we'll examine more closely in a moment, and a complete set of modular cables. Personally, I love the fact that it included this bag with the cables. It makes it feel a lot more premium. Small side note though, I don't know if everybody includes these cable pouches. This is my first modular supply ever, and I have my reasons for that. As I briefly mentioned, the packaging itself feels sturdy, and we can see here that it has adequate protection inside to prevent shipping damage, which I really like. My first impression holding this power supply is quite positive. It has a substantial weight to it, which often indicates quality. The exterior finish is top-notch, and it has a nice premium feel with a matte finish. The construction appears solid with no flexing or cheap plastics, which would be unusual for a power supply, I must admit, but yeah. And also you get a pretty fancy bag for your new power supply, which I doubt anyone will ever use. But it's a nice to have, I guess. Now let's look what cables come with this power supply. First and most important, we have the PCIe 5.0 or 12 volt high power cable. This is a new high power connector designed for the latest NVIDIA 40 and 50 series GPUs. As I'm going through the cables, I'm just going to say the build quality seems solid with thick enough insulation and proper reinforcement at connection points. I think that's critical, especially for the high power cable, since it needs to handle some serious power delivery. If you don't know about it, check out what happens to the 5090s. They burn. Either way. Rest of the cables are pretty standard and include motherboard connections, CPU power, and older PCIe 8-pin connectors. There are some cables for storage and peripherals, but these are all box standard. There's also a cable for the RGB, but as I said, I don't find that important, so I'm not gonna feature it extensively. ThermalTake has included mounting screws, cable ties for organization, and a power cord. Pretty much everything you need to get this installed is right here in the box. However, I would have loved to have seen some custom zip ties or Velcro straps, something that came with my old Seasonic unit that I featured in the video already. Personally, I don't like or use the regular zip ties, and some customization would be a nice touch, and it wouldn't break the bank. This connector delivers up to 600 watts, even though it says 300 watts on the cable itself. All that power goes through a single cable, which is pretty impressive compared to the multiple 8-pin connectors we had and still need with older PSUs. This power supply also has those cables, but using the new cable gives you a better look. Here I'm taking a look to see if this new cable can fit into the older 30 series cards, and I think even though it can fit, I wouldn't be comfortable using it here because these cards seemingly weren't intended to use the +4 pins that we have on the top. The 12 pins do fit as they should, but I'm not sure that it's safe to use because the older graphics card, and in this case the 3070 Ti Founders Edition, has the metal fins which can probably short some of these pins that are up top. So just to be safe, I will not be using this connector with my current graphics card. I might exchange it and use it if I see and if I find some sources that claim that this is actually safe to do. So for the time being, I'm keeping my PCIe 8-pin connections with the adapter that came from NVIDIA. However, if I upgrade to the 40 series card or 50 series card later on, I know that I can run it with this cable with no issues. When it comes to length of the cable and the ease of installation, I'll cover that in another video where I install the power supply into my PC. In the end, let me clarify my choice for this PSU. First up, this power supply is rated A tier on the PSU tier list, which is pretty much the gold standard for power supply rankings. I'll link those in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. Second, it was actually available locally to me without any shipping delays or extra cost. That was important. Third was the noise performance. This power supply has an excellent noise profile, with the fan staying completely off under light loads and maintaining a quiet operation even when pushed harder. In terms of value, I paid about 130 euros or $135, which was not amazing, but decent enough at the time of purchase for the region I live in. It may not be the cheapest A-tier option, but the local availability made it worth it for me. Finally, my power needs. My current system pulls around 450 watts at maximum load, maybe 500 if I really push everything to the limit. Since I'm actually planning to undervolt my components, I'm nowhere near maxing out the 750 watt of this unit. In fact, that keeps me in the ideal 50 to 60% range of the power supply. And this is perfect for multiple reasons, which I won't go into within this video. Also, my main reason for the upgrade wasn't really about needing more power. It was about stability and keeping the power supply in that optimal load range. My old unit would be running at its max, and with my new upgrades, the last thing I want to do is cause problems with my PSU taking down the entire system. And that's it. Thanks a ton for watching, and I hope you enjoyed some of the last scenes I filmed for all the people that stuck around till the end. Bye for now.